The vote of the British people to leave the European Union was clearly bitterly contested. The country was divided almost down the middle. But I think what advocates on both sides will agree is that this is a momentous decision. Things will never be the same again, and Britain's role in the world, Britain's role in Europe, will be fundamentally affected by this decision, not only in economic terms, but also in political and security terms. What we don't know is in what way it will be affected, because that will be decided by the nature of the government that succeeds David Cameron and the terms that government negotiates with the rest of the European Union. And there's a whole range of possibilities in front of us, each of which has its own costs and benefits. But broadly speaking, I think there's a trade-off between, on the one hand, what I would call clean break options, in which we have very strong immigration controls with European workers. We have a minimalist trade agreement, more or less comparable with that America or Russia has with the European Union. We take a significant economic hit as a result, but we have more control over our own affairs, which after all was one of the main slogans of the Brexiteers. But on the other end of the spectrum would be something in which we accept significant continuing cooperation with European Union countries in our security and economic interests, but in exchange have to accept the retention of some of the difficult measures, especially in relation to freedom of movement of labour to a large extent, that we currently have. And that's going to be one of the key issues confronting the new government. There's no easy road that allows the UK to get all the good elements of European cooperation without any of the elements which were important in the Leave vote. What I think will sharpen people's minds, however, is that many people think, I certainly believe, that the next months are likely to see a significant economic recession, which will mean the loss of jobs, it will mean growing economic uncertainty, and it will mean the prospect of significant cuts in public spending, given that we already have a significant budget deficit. And all that economic shock that one can expect in the next year or 2 years, I hope it doesn't happen, but I think it's entirely probable, will, I think, sharpen people's minds about the really difficult trade-offs the next government has to face. I think that it is likely and indeed desirable that at some stage over the next couple of years, as the dust begins to settle on the economic consequences of this decision, that we should have a strategic defence and security review. We've just had one, but Britain's strategic circumstances have fundamentally changed as a result of this decision in ways which we cannot yet predict the results of. It's like the UK's withdrawal from east of Suez, decided in a defence review in the late 1960s. It's in many ways more important for our security than 9/11, because this is something that fundamentally affects every aspect of Britain's life and indeed its security. But our close ties, our friendship with our European neighbours remains absolutely integral to our security as a country, as it's always been since Britain was created. And getting that sorted out, working through the implications of this vote for Britain's security and what it means, will be absolutely vital. Now, for example, that means looking at how we can maintain intelligence sharing on counter-terrorism cooperation without being the European Union. It means how we can use our significant diplomatic, developmental and defence weight as a country. In many ways we're the most internationally active European Union country as a bargaining chip to try and get some of the things we really need, like market access, with our neighbours, in a situation which many European countries who themselves face domestic political forces arguing for their own referenda and their own detachment from Europe will be very aware that they don't want to make it too easy for the UK to move. If the UK does well economically, if it looks as if they're getting all the benefits of EU membership without any of the costs, then you can see Sweden and Denmark and the Netherlands, potentially even France, saying, why can't we have a bit of that? So European Union leaders will be very cagey about making it too easy for the UK, but they also know that it's very much in their interest, in the interest of France and Germany and others, to have good relationships with the UK, because we bring things to the party. But it will be very much a transaction. It will be very much, we will get something from Europe if we provide something to Europe, rather than the current situation, which we're members of a club of mutual obligation.